Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for Renaissance Periodization, Advanced Training for Hypertrophy, video number 6, Technique Specifics and How to Coach Them. For the advanced, let's get into it. 6 points this time instead of the usual 7, and I'll tell you why in a sec. For the first time that you coach someone, or for the first time that it's just the two of you, and they might have done that movement 100 times by themselves, you're going to do the usual things, the usual suspects. You're going to review the exercise and its main goal verbally. Sometimes the main goal is obvious. Like, you're not going to say, like, hey, we're going to do squats to train legs. That's fucking nonsense. You're going to say, we're going to do squats here, and they're going to understand why they do squats. Often you will demonstrate the exercise yourself and give 1 or 2 cues. A lot of these won't be basic cues. If they've done the exercise a lot and they're good at it, they'll be very specific cues that you can bring to the table and they go, ooh, wow, I've never thought of it that way. That's really cool. You can also let them demo their version and go from there. And a lot of times that's really great, especially if they've had experience with this before. So for some people, like, you know, do you do pull-ups a lot? They're like, yeah, all the time. Like, all right, let's do some pull-ups. Let's get on the assisted pull-up machine to warm up. Show me good technique. But sometimes they're like, you're like, do you bent row much? And they're like, I got to be honest, I haven't done bent rows in a long time. And I know that when I used to do them, I was not that good at them. So why don't you show me these? And you're like, great, great, great. And then you show. Here's the big difference between beginners, intermediates, and now advanced. Beginners and intermediates, you are going to do a few for beginners and at least 1 for intermediates, sets of 5 with really light weight just to get them grooved in and make sure you correct all the main things. And for beginners, teach them the main things. For advanced, as soon as you've demonstrated or that they've demonstrated a few repetitions, you just port right into that first set of 12, where you make the corrections and adjustments as they're doing the set of 12. You're using that first warm-up set of 12 as the technique illustrator. The advanced will learn technique. They'll catch new technique fast. And as they feel out more and more weight over the warm-ups, their technique will get better and better. There's no need to practice for low loads for hours. You can just use the warm-up sets to teach the technique. This is not theoretical. Every time we have advanced lifters on the YouTube channel for training videos, which hopefully you've seen before, every Monday we put it out. This is how Jared and I do it. We coach them right in through the warm-ups. It works incredibly well almost every time if they're advanced. If they're beginners, Jesus, man, you really need some time to teach them the technique. And if they're intermediates, you need at least a little bit to make sure everyone's on the same page. The coaching that you're giving them is for the highest stimulus to fatigue ratio. And because they're advanced, they are now able to detect their mind-muscle connection, and they're able to benefit from enhancements to that connection. Beginners do not even mention the mind-muscle connection or SFR. For intermediates, SFR is going to be a bit of a concept they start to be familiar with, but what you really want to make sure is their technique is excellent and their effort level is very high. And you maybe towards later intermediate start to attend to, hey, like, do you feel your biceps more this way or not? For advanced lifters, mind-muscle connection is critical. Remember, mind-muscle connection is 2 things: the amount of tension you feel in the target muscle or the amount of burn you feel in the target muscle with high reps. Combination of those 2 shows that you're training the muscle that you're actually going for. If you're doing curls and you feel it all here, that's not ideal. So the right technique is the right one that hits all the external cues well, range of motion, blah, 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 but really it's the one they can feel most in their muscles. That is not true for beginners. They don't even know what they're feeling. It's not really true for intermediates because they have more important shit to focus on, like getting good technique and trying hard and getting progressions. But with the advanced, you really start to have to focus on mind-muscle connection because that tops out their SFR precisely when they have the bandwidth for it. When you give them feedback, you can be significantly more honest with advanced folks. It doesn't mean you put them down. You can be honest. If something sucks, you could be like, okay, that was a thing. And they're like, okay, I know, please help me. And you can be more technical. You can give very insightful, very nuanced, very minor corrections that they will be able to understand and process. You still do them 1 or 2 cues at a time, before, during, and after the set, but the cues can be very, very instructive. With some advanced lifters, when they are doing really great technique, you really just kind of remind them what good, like deep, yes, awesome. All right, full depth again, awesome. And a lot of times they know what they're doing so well that they only need for you to reinforce, they don't need anything really, but you can reinforce motivational shit. Like, all right, let's get this, 2 more reps, baby, let's go. And or if something starts to fall off, you can re-cue it. So if Jared Feather is coaching me in my high bar squat technique, you'll just be like, come on, Mike, you got this. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It'd be like hips, hips, hips. And I know that I'm lifting my hips up too much and I need my chest up higher. That little reminder is all I need because I know what a fucking squat. It's just when the weight gets really heavy and the reps get really nasty, close to failure, sometimes I need a reminder when my body starts shifting almost imperceptibly to everyone else, except with Jared Feather's laser eyes, very perceptibly to him. I will say this, if you're coaching advanced people, there is a lot of leeway you cut them with they know what they're doing. But nonetheless, if they're violating core basic tenets, you got to call them out on that shit. If they're starting to skimp on the eccentric and going a little fast towards the end of a set, none of this fucking I'm a pro and I know what I'm doing BS. What would Jared Feather say? He calls out pros. That's his fucking job in the gym, telling them to do better technique. So if they really know what they're doing, they're really big, they're really strong, and you're sort of lucky to coach them, you can still get on them. Be like, hey, let's get that eccentric controlled. Let's get it slow. And that's when they start slowing it down and they're like, that hurts. And then you say, motherfucker, did you think you were here for a good time? And they're like, hey, okay, I'll do another slow eccentric. You got to remind people in the throes of pain and agony that the goal is the goal is the goal. And that can be a big quality you bring as a coach to an advanced athlete, not telling them what to do, reminding them only when they need it that this is the plan. Lastly, even with some advanced folks, especially new advanced clients that come to you, you might have to do some legit renorming, which means what they think their high bar squat technique or bench press technique is and should be is so wrong that you can't even execute progressions off of it. You got to do the renorming, which we talked about in prior lectures. If you take that exercise, you put it to the last exercise of the day, just sets of 5s for a while, even if it's sets of 5 to 10 in the working range, it's last in that muscle group, and you really just take tons of weight off the bar. You focus on external movement, external cues to get that exercise back to where it's supposed to be to begin with. Not a BS, just dip right under parallel squat, but a highly executed, super slow eccentric, pause at the bottom, chest up the whole time, that kind of squat. After a few weeks, they know, okay, this is the squat. Maybe we bring it back to the 4 and they do it harder and heavier. That might have to happen, even with advanced folks, because even advanced folks, sometimes on occasion, sometimes quite often, where they got is with good technique. Your job is to engineer in them excellent technique. All right. That's all I have for that one. See you guys next time for the next lecture.